It's Mark Ferguson coming at you from the farm. I am with Scott Elliott from Custom Structures Inc. He is our design build guy, and we're figuring out today how the heck to get a road back to the farmhouse. Scott, what do you see as the biggest factors here?
One, we want to pick up views. We want to tell a story as we're driving through on the property. We want to make sure that things are not going to get very costly with moving earth and things. So we want to blend into the natural settings that we have and work a road that way.
Yeah, I think that's a great factor. We're going to have guests coming in and out constantly because this is going to be a vacation rental. So we want them to have a really terrific experience as they're approaching the house. I'll come back to the cost question because, oh my God, roads are expensive. And this could be, I don't know, a mile and a half?
Yeah, depending on which way we go, I believe there's like 3 possible ways that you had sent me.
Right.
And today we're going to ride around in this side by side and have some fun and figure out which way. And usually once you go out and look at different areas of the land, it becomes pretty apparent what you need to do.
That's what we're doing today, looking at different areas of the land, 3 different paths in, and we're going to see which one is the best looking and the most cost efficient. All right, let's get at it. All right, what's your idea with this farm?
All right, so this could be like a drive-through portico. You've got a beautiful walnut tree right here on the side. You've got the silo here, and then for the first time we'll drive through this thing. See, you could bring it down through this way. And that way you can see the house as you approach it. Come around this cool little pothole.
The path that everybody uses right now and there's a lot of hillside where rocks sometimes fall down, so that's a big consideration. Are we going to have to shore up that hillside, and if so, how much does that cost? We're about to take the other path back out. It is, I'm guessing, easier. I don't know if it's as scenic, and it cuts across somebody else's property. Okay, we looked at 2 options. What are you thinking about the 2 that we've looked at so far?
I'm thinking the first one.
Thinking the first one.
I'm thinking the first one.
All right. Well, I mean, the upside, that's land that we owned entirely. Don't have to cut across anybody else's. Are you worried about that embankment and rocks coming down and things like that?
I'm not.
How come?
Because the bank has been there for so long. The positive you have there is you have existing rock formations.
Right.
Okay, so you have good bedrock. So putting gravel over top of that is just going to make an even better road. What I don't like about this second road we've just ran through is you would have to get an easement from a neighbor.
Right.
That could become its own little issue. 2, the scenery is just it's more of an experience.
Right.
The first road.
So first road, more of an experience. Second road is an easement. And you think first road might actually be cheaper in the end?
I do.
Okay, well that's good to know. We still have one more option. we're going to check it out and see what Scott thinks about that one. If I don't lose an eye to a tree limb today, it's going to be a miracle. Now, this also cuts across somebody else's land, so you may have to stop at some point. All right, so what do you think about this one?
I don't think this one's a good one.
No?
No.
What? How come?
It's just too overgrown and it's too virgin.
Yeah.
It has never had gravel on it. It's never been really traveled as much as the other paths.
If you had to guess, when was the last time you think this was used regularly?
Man, I think this was probably used very little, but probably 30, 40 years.
I think that's probably right. I mean, nobody's lived here since 1959, 60, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So, all right, it's beautiful. It's got a really gorgeous approach, but it also is just overgrown and cuts across somebody else's property. Again, we're really trying to avoid that. So we're back at the option that seems like it's probably the best. It's the road that's usually used coming in and out of the farm. I've been nervous about this embankment behind me. You can see that is pretty darn steep. And I've certainly come in before and found big rocks down on the road. That's fine if I'm driving in and out, but once we have guests coming in and out of here, that's not ideal. So what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are you've already got a lot of bedrock in this existing road bed here. You know, coming in and actually doing a ditch, defining a ditch and getting the water away from the road where it doesn't erode the road. You might have little rocks that fall off from time to time, but if you have a ditch there, they will fall to the ditch.
So the ditch catches the rocks. You probably don't need to really shore up the embankment, which was my big concern because that would be so expensive.
Right.
Do you want to go take a look at the bridges?
Sure.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on those.
Yeah.
You see something cool? So if you look down here, see those initials?
Yeah.
It's my grandpa.
Really?
Yeah. HF, Hillary Ferguson.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So my guess is this was made when he was a little boy, or he helped make it and carved his initials in it.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bridge appears to be in great shape. There's no cracks. It is solid concrete. It probably has a lot of rebar in it, and I think it's great. I'd drive over it in a heartbeat.
It is solid concrete, and it does get flooded. So that's the conversation I was having with Vivian, who farms the land. She says that water will fully cover this, you know, a couple of times a year.
Sure.
And we were talking about whether we put something along the edge to keep people from driving off of it, because that's my biggest fear is that a guest is going to end up with a car in the creek, which isn't good for anybody.
Sure.
And she's like, well, you need to be careful about that because water's coming at it, everything, yeah, trees, limbs, whatever's washing downstream builds up and can move your bridge.
What you could do as a minimal is get a 6x6 wood log and rebar it in, dowel it in on the edges of the concrete, and that way it's more of a safety thing for people. They know they've got to stay within that wood.
Yeah.
And that way, if a log comes rolling through here, you know, and the water's over top of it, it will keep on moving. Well, and I think when we originally came over to the farm and looked at it the first time, we were worried about how much it was going to cost to put in a bridge. Unless you build something and spend $100,000 on a bridge and make it up this high, you know, there's no justification for that return on your investment.
Well, we can't spend $100,000 on a bridge because then we can't afford a house. So, priorities. One requisite when you come to the farm, making sure you're wearing shoes you don't mind getting cow poop on. I'll admit it, I had really been sweating this road thing. Between the bridge and that embankment, costs could have soared. But it looks like my ancestors picked well when they laid down that old road we've been using forever. Who knows? Maybe they're out there somewhere looking down and thinking, son, we told you so.